is Saturday, November 25th, and you are watching You Don't Watch Sports right here on the Feo Grande YouTube network. We're here to cover 3 topics throughout your week that will get you through that sports conversation. I am Bill Smith, and I am here as always with the man, the myth, the legend, Feo Grande himself, Omari Ellis. Omari, how was your sports week?
Oh, I'm doing good. And my sports week's okay, all things considered. We just had a good, Turkey Day, a couple games going off with that. But sports week going as good as it can. No complaints for real. Debo
Wonderful.
Samuel got me a lot of fantasy points last night.
Wonderful, wonderful. On my end of things, the Cardinals have started the free agent market, and our first 2 pickups are Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson. And if you know, you know. Let's go on to our other topics of the day, because MLB free agency will not be one of them. First seed of the day, Omari, the Turkey Day blowout over in Dallas on Thanksgiving. Dak Prescott and his right guard, Zach Martin, feasted on a turkey leg together on the sidelines with 6 minutes left to go in the game after the star quarterback's 4th touchdown pass. And then Deron Bland really got the Thanksgiving party started for Dallas. Bland set an NFL record with his 5th interception return for a touchdown this season. The Cowboys extended their longest home winning streak in 42 years to 13 wins by pulling away with a 45-10 victory over the Washington Commanders Thanksgiving night. The Cowboys offense has been compiling a gigantic resume this season. 40-0, 30-10, 43-20, 49-17, just to grab a handful of random games. Omari, we have not spent a whole lot of time talking about these Cowboys. I mean, and I think the media, although, they're going to talk about the Cowboys because it's the Cowboys,
America's team.
But they are always the first team on that second tier, right behind Eagles, 49ers. What does this team need to do to get over that hump?
Beat a team that matters. They lost to so that's the thing. The Cowboys, you're right, they're doing great this season. They've done great and looked great a lot of seasons in the past. But there's a reason there's a meme involving Stephen A. Smith. Every time the Cowboys do lose a game, this man's coming out with the cowboy hat and people are looking forward to it because they have earned this reputation over the years of, as he puts it, being an accident waiting to happen. Now, granted, doesn't look like a lot of accidents should happen this season. Dak's playing ridiculous, like you said. Not Miles, the defensive guy for them. He's really terrifying.
Yeah, he was your defensive player of the first half.
Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons. He's been going crazy. Now they got this. I didn't even know about this Bland guy till yesterday. I'm like, well, they got him in the secondary too. Damn, no wonder they get these lopsided scores, and no wonder they're 8-3. But I saw a tweet last night from Bill Simmons. It's like, I just want to point out that Dallas has beaten the Giants, who are 3-8, are 2 of those wins. The Commanders, 4-7, not that much better than 3-8, though technically still not good. New England, 2-8. Jets, 4-6. Carolina, even worse than the Patriots. So high back at me, I suppose. The Rams, 4-6, and the Chargers, 4-6. None of the teams they've beaten this season gotten 5 wins. So none of the teams they beat. It's kind of like how people were talking about the Dolphins a couple. Am I good?
It was blinking for a minute, but you're here.
Okay, yeah. It's like a couple weeks ago when people were talking about the Dolphins and them going, "Oh, beat a good team, damn it," and then we can say something. It's kind of like that. They went up against the Niners, that other team that's doing ridiculous, and demolished somebody last night, as well as the Eagles, who another really good team, and they've lost to both of them in the head to head so far this season, as well as losing to a bad team in the Cardinals of Arizona.
Yep.
So what they gotta do to get people to take them seriously is do this, but to a good team. You have all the tools.
Yeah.
It just needs to show up when it matters.
Exactly. Like you said, how do you get on that tier? You only have 3 losses this season, and 2 of them are to the 2 teams on that top tier. You got to as someone once said, to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Indeed.
All right, so that's our notes on the Dallas Cowboys this week. But congratulations on an incredibly impressive win on a national stage, Thanksgiving Day. But also, F Dallas and Detroit for just getting the Thanksgiving treatment. Like I don't understand that, but also I guess it's probably not that fun for the players. Like you're constantly like, these are all big men that probably love to eat. Get to miss out on normal Thanksgiving because you're playing a football game.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to our second topic of the day. We are going to go into a little NHL. The season has started, so now we can start talking about them a little bit. Let's go through a few teams that you can start looking for in the season coming up. These are your strong teams, your power rankings, if you will, coming in to the 2023-2024 season. I'll start us off with the Boston Bruins. Now, with the retirements of Patrice Bergeron and David Krejci, Boston's preseason point total over under was 10th in the league. Now it appears the Bruins are aiming for the record books again. They're led by David Pastrnak up front, an elite blue line group led by Charlie McAvoy and the NHL's best goaltending tandem. Will give them the benefit of the doubt here. Boston Bruins are coming in at number 1 in our power rankings.
Unfortunately. However, number 2 in the power rankings, we got the Vegas Golden Knights. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, ho-hum choice. Of course, they'll be top power rankings. They're the defending Stanley Cup champs, predicted to eclipse triple digits in points again. And they're blowing well past that level of expectation. So, they're one of the league's true powerhouses, and they're looking to continue their winning ways this season. Look for the Golden Knights.
Number 3 on our list is going to be the Vancouver Canucks. Now, for those who predicted that a Canadian team would finally break through the decades-long streak of no cups for north of the border teams, did anyone think it was going to be the Canucks? There's not much to dislike about this team, from Hart Trophy candidate Elias Pettersson to Norris candidate Quinn Hughes to Thatcher Demko. They've got all levels covered. So we're going to say number 3, Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, a lot of candidates: Hart, Norris, and even the Vezina candidate, Thatcher Demko.
Yep.
Yeah. Then we got the New York Rangers coming in number 4. So 2 springs ago, the Rangers had a convincing run all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. But after an abrupt first-round exit in the 2023 playoffs, they went ahead and replaced Gerard Gallant behind the bench with Peter Laviolette, and somehow found a magic elixir to turn Jonathan Quick back to the vintage version of himself. So they should be near the top of the East Division this season.
Yeah, I love the Rangers. Just always feels like an old school team. I don't know why, but like that's like feels like the team of my childhood, and always a fun one to kind of quietly root for. Well, that's our NHL power rankings. Those are the teams that we want you to keep an eye out on. Boston Bruins, Vegas Golden Knights, Vancouver Canucks, and then the New York Rangers is our top 4 in the NHL. Omari, how much both of us don't dig into the NHL too much. But I see you got the Blues cap on there. Are the Blues still your team?
Oh, they'll always be my team because I'm from St. Louis. And much like my football, with the exception of 20 of a few years ago when they finally won the Stanley Cup, but
Mm-hmm.
before that, it's still aligned with how my football fandom usually ends up working out. I usually don't end up rooting for teams that are always in the championship picture anyway. So, and hockey's not a sport I paid the most attention to. So it's one of those things. It's like it doesn't hurt as much when we have another bad season with the Blues,
Right.
but it's another way to also like represent the hometown. But yeah, I'll always root for the Blues. And I was so happy that when they won the cup, they did it against those Boston Bruins.
That's a perfect segue. Because our third topic of the day is going to be a little quandary about the culture of booing in sports fandom. Interesting thing went down this week in sports. Spurs coach Greg Popovich grabbed the PA announcer's microphone during Wednesday night's game against the LA Clippers and asked the home fans to stop booing while former Spurs standout Kawhi Leonard shot a pair of free throws. Now, Leonard stepped to the line in the second quarter as the crowd began booing during his first free throw. Popovich briefly spoke to the crew chief, Tyler Ford, for walking over to the scorer's table. Taking a mic, "Excuse me for a second," Popovich said to the crowd. "Can we stop all the booing and let these guys play? Have a little class," he says. "That's not who we are. Knock off the booing." When asked about the moment post-game, Popovich said his message was about not wanting the fans to give Leonard any extra motivation. "I think anybody that knows anything about sports, you don't poke the bear," Popovich said. Now, Omari, aside from the potential of adding fuel to a fire, what is your stance on this on kind of the first public statement from Popovich of have some class and that's not who we are? What do you think about booing in sports?
I think it is not only a part that has been around for being ever. I do think it kind of builds into that home team advantage and away advantage and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you get people to, it's the crowd's participation and being in the game, and also their right to, if they don't like what they see, express it. It's in theater, it's in a lot of culture. I don't like this, I'm going to express it. Now when they start throwing shit and stuff like that, that's, come on now, that's too much. Booing, but expressing your distaste is so out there in culture. Like, I spent $500 tonight to come and see this game, or I spent $500 tonight to tell LeBron James he can't play basketball, and damn it, that's what I'm doing. La flop, la fraud, whatever you want. Or in this case, Kawhi L for Leonard, because you're an L. People want to do that. People want to do that, and I get it. And like I said, it's kind of like when people go, "We did it this year." Obviously, the athletes on the court are the ones doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going, especially if you're going to those home games and stuff, and you're part of the whole distraction, it's like, because it's the reason people don't want to play in Arrowhead in the NFL. They don't want to play in like OKC's dome or the Warriors' home and stuff because of how loud it is and how disorienting that is. And that's part of the setup to the sports.
Yeah.
There are teams that built their stadiums with that in mind. The Seattle teams did it. Oklahoma City built their stadium to resonate with crowd noise so that it could make it louder just by you being in the building to create an
Mm-hmm.
actual home team advantage. So whatever. I hadn't heard his second thing about, oh, I just didn't want to poke the bear. I thought it was on some, he won a championship for this city, don't boo him when he comes back.
Yeah, that would be my second part of this, and I was curious of your thoughts of like specifically on this instance of we are booing him because he used to be one of us and left.
Yeah, and that's fine too, especially the way he left. Because
Okay.
he did one of those I'm not gonna play hard, fucking trade me type
No,
shit.
yeah, it was one of the first quiet quittings before quiet quitting was a word.
Yeah. And so because of the way and again, it's one of those things that's like, yeah, the team wasn't doing right by him. He did right by our city, but our team didn't do right by him, so he left. I get it. Type shit. But again, leaving free agency, do what you want. You know, maybe don't hold the TV special about taking your talents to Canada or some shit. But you could go ahead and lead the team. You did your time. You brought a championship. You technically did your job. But he didn't. He kind of he showed just how much he wanted to be out of there until he got traded out. And it's like Toronto, Vince Carter helped put that team on the fucking map for years and years and years. But the second his ass left, every time he came back for years and years and years, maximum amount of booze, regardless of what he did. It's like you were here and you left. I'm not sure if they booed Pujols, but I did.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's the weird place I'm coming from as a St. Louis Cardinals fan, because we're almost respectful to an annoying level, where we are regularly known to applaud opposing visiting teams for making a good play. We it is tradition for returning players to get standing ovations in their first at bats.
I like the first one, and then
Oh no, yeah, no, every at bat, but like it's like when Yachty was our catcher, he would use that moment as a moment to ask the ump to clean off home plate, which he can do as a catcher at any moment. He could request him to, like, wipe the dirt off and shit. Um uh and he would always do that, and then he would start to do a walk towards the pitcher, and that would then give the returning player a moment standing completely alone at the batter's box, and the stadium would go nuts for them. Albert Pujols hit a home run as a visiting player, and the stadium went berserk, like he was still wearing a St. Louis Cardinals uniform. So there is that weird side of things that I'm coming from, but I'm also someone who's like, yeah, like there is a line, like you said, like I'm down for like a boo, like a 12-0 game, and the reliever is still out there and the manager won't pull him, and you think that all the decisions made today were wrong, and you boo, you guys suck, come on. This was my whole evening, this is the only thing I'm doing all month. But yeah, but the people who are like, I saved up my money so I could come here and tell LeBron that he can go fuck himself, is a bridge too far for me. But I'm still not really in the outlaw kind of camp.
as someone who does not like Tom Brady, I was not ever going to spend money specifically so that I could boo the man. Now, I went to one of those Tampa games to root for the Bears against them, but there wasn't a lot of, well, I'm booing while I booed when I could, but that game was quickly one-sided and not in a good way. So it's just, what am I doing? I'm not gonna boo the Bears, but I'm not gonna cheer the Bucks. Just sit here upset. But yeah, but the idea of paying specifically to boo somebody, no. But pro wrestling, a lot of the times when you're trying to go watch live, part of that experience is that the audience is a character in and of itself. It cheers and boos
Right.
for the people, and you're a part of that experience. And it's the same thing with the other sports. At the end of the day,
like you said, it's been going on forever. Like Roman Coliseum kind of stuff is what we're talking about here. It ain't going away. I just like Pop's got to pull the stick out of his butt a little bit here.
yeah, like, okay, Pop, no, I'm not with you on this one.
Yeah, anybody who goes the route of like have a little class, like
Come on now.
yeah, those are usually the same people who are asking dudes to not celebrate their home runs as they're rounding the bases, and like let the fun be in sports. Like, come on, we're all playing a kids game here. All right, well, that was a pretty cool talk. Those are our three conversations of the day, folks. We had our Dallas Cowboys, we had the NHL power rankings, and then we had a little talk on the boo culture of sports fandom. If you got anything that you want us to talk about, throw it in the comments below. We are here every Saturday on the Feo Grande Network. We also have our little movie club show that airs on Tuesdays called This Guy Hasn't Seen. This week we have Best in Show.
Best in Show.
Best in Show's coming up here. Omari, what else you got going on the interwebs?
Elsewhere, I got going on the interwebs. Elsewhere on YouTube, you can find me with another podcast that I have every week, every Wednesday, called Whatever We Want. I do it with a good friend of mine, a good friend of the channel, Super Jazz.
Super Jazz.
Thank you very much. As nature intended. We talk about just that, whatever we want. We have that new next week as well. And I have a Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That is Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by, go ahead. And I'm usually streaming some kind of games and doing stuff over there. But yeah, also, you know what? I don't know about hockey this season. I don't care if they wasn't in the power rankings. I don't care about their history leading up. But let's go. This is their year again. We ain't waiting 108 years between our next championship.
Absolutely. I think they clocked in at about 16th on our power rankings. So
yeah, top 16. That's okay.
Let's
that's the upper half of the league.
Let's give them a shot. Hey, the year that they won the Stanley Cup, they had the worst record in the league at the All-Star break. So anything can happen.
There we go.
All right, that's You Don't Watch Sports. You have a good week.